this is a big day. I feel like this is like an old family reunion, except like you're an internet friend that I've never met. This is Jacob. Jake, you might recognize him from my favorite holiday, Juneteenth. Wow, and I thought I was overwhelmed at the convention. Just like being around you can't walk 5 feet without somebody asking you for something, autograph, photo. Like how do you have the bandwidth, like the mental capacity?
I suppose God gives his greatest battles to his greatest warriors.
That's why he didn't give it to me, because I would have cussed people out. I was like cleaning up my equipment at like 5:30, and some guy came over and he asked me to sign. I'm not even joking, like 5 things, like autograph. And it's so sweet. It's like, he's a sweet guy. He autographed these 2 posters, a sticker, and then he wanted 2 of my business cards autographed. And then he's like, "Can I interview you for my YouTube channel?" I was this close to saying, "Get the fuck away from me!" So God is not giving me his greatest battles. I can't even handle like a 25-year-old kid with 10 bags asking for an interview at 5:30. But I was like, more people came over to me when I was on all fours packing up my equipment than did all day.
Oh my
God!
God!
I feel like I see her on the floor, but like I just bitch myself to you. But like, anyway, yeah. So you got here today? This was your first day?
No. Yesterday.
Okay. Lauren's getting her soup.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yesterday.
Oh yeah, yesterday, because I saw you at the VIP reception thing. Is this all? Are these all the clothes you brought this weekend?
Well, I live in Phoenix.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. You only had to tell me that 3 times.
It's okay.
So you go home to sleep in your own bed each night.
Yes,
and
thank
then
God.
You wake up and you're like, time to put the paint on. Or do you sleep in the paint?
Oh, I sleep in it. I shower in it, you know.
And like, I'm sorry I'm asking you questions that a million other people haven't asked you. Like, what did your family think of everything? Were they supportive? Were people scared for you? Like, do you have any liberal family members who tried to disassociate from you or anything, or just how
all
was
of
that?
the above.
All of the above.
Yep, all of the above. There was a lot of support. There was a lot of sympathy. There was a lot of love. And yeah, I had a family member that was very upset, not because of what happened to me, but because of how it affected them.
What happened to them? Did they
Well, nothing. They just felt very vulnerable.
But it's it's not even happening to you.
Yeah.
That must be frustrating, because you're the one you're the
languishing
public
away.
face
Yeah,
of it.
exactly.
I mean, you literally were in prison for how many months?
27 months behind bars. 10 and a half in solitary.
Oh my God. I literally forget how long you were in jail for. How do you even and I'm sure it was your first time in jail. How much time leading up to it? Did you know how much time you were going to serve? How did you prepare yourself?
No, I had no idea. That was part of what was so difficult, was that no matter what I did while I was in solitary, I didn't know what was going to happen. So then there's the ups and the downs, it's going to be okay, the judge will be fair, and then there's the judge is going to throw the book at me, the way the media and the government's coming at me. So there's the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, and it was very, very difficult. I thought about suicide a few times, but I knew that wasn't the solution. That I wouldn't be able to escape any of it. I just had to go through it.
Well, there was a guy, I forget on whose documentary, but there was someone who for January 6th went in, and they were figuring out how much time to give him, or they were going to add on a different
terrorism
enhancement charge, and then the guy took his own life.
Yes,
and the extra charge made the difference in him making that decision. And so it's did you go into prison not knowing how long you're going to be there for?
That's correct. And in solitary, that's hard.
What can you bring to prison?
Nothing.
No, not your phone.
No, of course not.
No clothes. It doesn't even matter.
They strip you of everything.
Think about what would I wear to jail, but it doesn't even matter, because it's not
it's boxed up and sent home.
Yeah. I'm making jokes because just the idea is
so
insane to me, and it's such a real thing, and they just love to pick out certain people. Like, I mean, you're a very easy person to make. Like, you're basically like the poster boy for January 6th. Like, it's Adam Johnson, the lectern guy. Shout out to Adam. He came to my show in Tampa a couple weeks ago. But this is all about, who can we absolutely publicly skewer for this and make an example of and strike fear into everybody else. And it's like, I think the whole point of it was like, yeah, let's make sure nobody else ever thinks of doing of basically like expressing their First Amendment ever again. Like, let's make sure everybody who is right of center is afraid to even make their voices be heard. And it's like, it's crazy making, because we just had an entire, before this happened, summer of love. Literally, they're trying to burn down the fucking White House. All the same thing. The Pussy Hat Gang was all up in the Capitol building. There's countless times where groups from the left or the Pussy Hat group, like the
BLM, Antifa, yeah, they're burning. Washington D.C. was literally on fire for a couple of days,
and no one heard about it. Only a few people who are like, wait a minute, what about comparing it to this? And it's like, well, no, it doesn't matter, because you're a Trumper, and the whole thing is just to make anybody who voted for Trump a bad person. And It's like, never in my lifetime has politics would be something you talked about or didn't, and be like, well, don't bring up politics at Thanksgiving. It was like this cheeky little thing. Never in my lifetime have you been actually demonized for voting for a person, as we all were basically from 2016 on. And I just like, and my friend Owen Schroyer he just did, I think, about a month in solitary. Mm-hmm. But so you went in knowing you were doing solitary, or knowing you were just going in? But
at first it was just misdemeanors. And so I thought, okay, maybe a month or two in jail, a couple months probation. And then they slapped the felonies on me. And they said it was a maximum of 25 years. And what's interesting is my judge said at my sentencing that I probably did the right thing to take a plea deal, because if I went to trial, I was looking at 20 years. And Jesus. So like, yeah, it's heavy. So the government, what they'll do is they'll lean on you with all of their resources, and they'll put up all these charges. They can charge you with whatever, but then they'll say, okay, take this plea deal, plead guilty to this, and then we'll drop all these other charges. And that's why they have a 98% guilty plea rate, not a conviction rate, a guilty plea rate. So, when we really look at the big picture, this has been going on for a long time. And what's interesting is people on the left have been screaming about this for a long time. Justice reform, this system is wrong. This is corrupt. The prison system needs to be reformed. And people on the right are like, they're criminals. They're criminals. And it's like, well, now that the people on the right have skin in the game, they're starting to see, no, like there's been people that have been getting screwed for a long time. And this is the bad thing about partisan politics, is that nobody's looking at things objectively. They're looking at it as almost like football teams. Well, my team is this, my red, blue.
And they don't care overall. They just care when it affects them.
Right, exactly. And it's like, well, hold on a second here. We're all Americans, and we all have skin in the game here if the government is tyrannical. And if we don't do something, if we don't recognize the problem and figure out a way to fix it, then we're screwed.
Yeah. Did you feel like I submitted some, Nick Searcy made a documentary about January 6th. I remember I was submitting some like footage to him. I was like watching, I went to his house and we were like watching, because I was like, I have all this footage just from being there that I've never even looked at. And I just feel like, because right after it happened, it's like, it was this sense of fear of like, don't post, because you could be like incriminating somebody, exactly. Yourself or like others, some other innocent person. And so I was like, wow, the first time I'm like looking through this footage with Nick, and I think it's called Capital Punishment. And like he's like, wait, stop it right there. And it was what's his face? That guy that everyone talks about that like never got arrested.
Ray Epps.
It was Ray Epps, literally like patting two guys on the back. It feels like a January 6th Where's Waldo. You're like, that's him. There he is. Oh my God. And it's just, I feel like everyone's going through their footage and photos being like, oh, he's in that photo. He's in this video. And it just, I watched it over and over again. I'm like, this fucking guy. It's just so obviously fishy. Did you like remember from the day anybody that stood out to you as like as fishy or strange, or anyone that you felt like was just a little bit extra
There were people there that were dressed in tactical gear. Some people had their whole face covered, sunglasses, mask. And Trump supporters, they don't do
look like
that. Patriots don't cover up their face. They're proud, So that was suspect. But I was trying to calm things down. Obviously, it's going to be difficult being a guy in horns and face paint telling everybody to calm down. But as soon as I went into the building, I stopped somebody from stealing from the break room. The reason the police were escorting me around is because I offered to help them to clear out the Senate chamber and stop vandalism, violence, and theft. And then as soon as I got out of the building, I literally stopped people from breaking in and told everybody to go home because Donald Trump said to go home. So the narrative of what happened has been very distorted. And the reason why I think they chose me to be their poster child, the poster boy, was because there was chaos outside the building, and those images were very shocking, right? But they didn't have anything inside the building that was shocking because there wasn't really a lot of chaos or violence.
It was a field trip. It was like a freaking museum visit.
But if you put my image in there, which is a shocking image, right? Then they can try and tie and correlate my image inside with the stuff outside and say, oh, it was all
you're making it all happen or something. Did they try to make it seem like even Owen Schroyer was saying at one point they were trying to blame all of January 6th on him, like it was his idea or something. And like were they ever trying to do that? Like how would it's not even possible for one person to. I just think it's a ridiculous thing that they would try to be like, we're going to pin it on this one person or this one person. Because it's like, how do you was a million people there that day?
The Mockingbird media tried to say myself and Big O Patriot, the guy that put his feet on Pelosi's desk, they tried to say that we were like the ringleaders, but none of it's true. From what I understand, actually it was the media that asked Big O Patriot to put his feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk so they could get the photo op. So the whole narrative, it's all about optics, and this is psychological warfare at its essence. Is like, it's not what it is, it's what it can be made to appear to look like. It's what it looks like. So they use trigger words and trigger images. They combine them together. They create this emotional, instinctual response in the subconscious mind, and that affects people's conscious perception of reality.
Mm-hmm. The most exciting thing you told me is that you didn't just buy this, like you made this, like you bought this thing, you bought the horns. Did you hot glue gun them?
Yeah.
And this is not even the first outfit. Like they took his first outfit.
Yeah, they haven't given the coyote tails and the horns back. The feds still have that. They still have my phone. They still have my pants. They still have my staff. And they were supposed to give it back over a year ago.
That's annoying about the phone because there's probably I don't know, stuff you want on there. Like if my phone just was taken, I'd be so pissed because there's so many just photos from I don't know, wedding and just the last 3 years on there. That's insane.
Yeah, it was hard. But the thing is that God has a plan, and God used what happened to me to show the American people that the narrative that they were being told was a lie. And kudos to Tucker Carlson for at least having the courage to air the footage when he got it. And what's interesting about it is that because they chose to make me their poster boy, they done fucked up because they made me seem really stupid. They made me seem like I was some crazy madman, like I was some violent insurrectionist, when none of that is true. Nothing could be further from the truth. I'm really smart.
Needed to bring weapons. Nobody brought weapons.
Well, but the thing is that I had no idea it was going to even happen. And, I was nonviolent the whole time. I was trying to help the police. I was trying to keep things calm. So the whole narrative got flipped on its head because of the way they chose to use my image.
Because it's you're actually a very sweet person and you're soft spoken. It's but one picture of you yelling, oh, look at this guy, he's so hardcore.
Well, I was singing my shamanic song. The headshot.
Okay, yeah.
That was when I was singing. That was the climax of my shamanic song inside the Senate, the upper terrace of the Senate chamber, and the one where there's the cops and we're talking, and that I was just screaming freedom. But that was it.
Okay. What does it mean, for people who don't know, which I'm included in that, explain what it means to be a shaman, I guess. Are you, because I just thought it was it's just a fun character for the day because tons of people showed up in costume. I talk about it. I have a stand-up album called Live from January 6th. Half of it is jokes about the day and just being there, and the other half is other jokes. But I was the costumes were the best part of the day. There was a guy in a skeleton costume with a sign that said I voted for Biden 9 times, and I'm you can't even make that up. It's just so reality is funny. And I loved the costumes. There were so many dogs, families there, people with their kids. It was like, people gave me shit because I was on the Megyn Kelly show and I said I had a pretty chill experience. Like, I thought it was a pretty chill day overall. People go, oh my God. Like when it first, when it just happened, it was like, couldn't believe someone was calling it chill. But I'm like, yeah, I didn't go in the building. I didn't know. I was kind of dumb. Like, it took me a while to figure out what was actually going on in the building at the time and why people went in. And I just was like, I thought people were climbing up the wall to get a photo op. Like, I just was like, I was doing a lot of man on the streets outside, I guess. But
yeah, well, the shamanic, it's not a costume, it's regalia.
Right.
It's like part of my shamanic belief. So in the shamanic tradition, wearing horns or face paint or animal furs is akin to wearing priestly robes. It means you're kind of like one with nature type of deal, and shamanism is the oldest religion on the planet. It was the first religion. All cultures, all religions have shamanism at their roots.
So is it like similar to paganism, or like you're kind of like one with? I'm just trying to figure out if there are drugs involved in this.
Okay, so look at it like this. I'll explain.
Okay.
So all shamanic. So first of all, the term shaman comes from the Siberian or the Mongolian word shaman, which means the one who knows. So a man or a woman can be a shaman. Okay. And anthropologists have used that term as kind of a catch-all term for all indigenous belief systems, in particular when they believe in animism, which means everything is alive, everything has a spirit. Now, all shamanic cultures across the world, and this is why I say all religions are rooted in shamanism, they all have some common core beliefs. Number one, they all believe in a unified field of energy and life that permeates all the universe with life and consciousness. Number two, they all believe in the spirit world, the idea of there being positive and negative entities in the spirit world. Number three, they all believe in meditation or trance states or prayer and how they can get in touch with the spirit world, how they can get in touch with God. Number four, they all believe in song and dance, singing and drumming, and how that leads to things like trance states and how that can get them in touch with the spirit world, how that can chase off evil spirits, how that can get them in touch with God. Number five, they all believe in sacraments. So this is where you say drugs. Psychoactive plants are a part of that. Yes, things like psilocybin mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca, ibogaine, even cannabis. But there's other things too, like healing plants, like sage. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or certain medicinal mushrooms that aren't psychoactive, etc. Or like the use of incense and stuff like that.
Yeah, people will sage a room in their house or sage the whole house to just get like a bad energy out, or like when they move in somewhere. Yeah.
And then finally, they all believe in ordeals. So that means like the shaman will, a lot of the time where people in the tribe will go through an ordeal, they'll go through something that's painful and that's like a long process. But they do this to ward off evil spirits and ward off negative timelines. Negative timelines meaning like drought, famine, disease, war, bad juju in the tribe, right?
STDs.
Yes, things like that. Okay. Now, they're also at the same time, by going through these ordeals, they're taking all the pain and suffering into themselves so that they can shield the tribe from those negativities. And in the process, the tribe gets to thrive. So
sounds very Christ-like.
Yes, well, and that's the thing, is that Jesus went through an ordeal with the 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. The shamans also all believe in healing, okay, and the power of healing. Jesus healed people. Jesus cast out evil spirits and demons from ecosystems and people's bodies. He also defeated death, and he taught people how to pray. You see? So in my opinion,
he made wine.
Jesus was the ultimate shaman. So that's why I don't say I'm a Christian. I'm a shamanic practitioner who follows in the footsteps of Christ. I'm a disciple of Christ. So I try to be as Christ-like as I can in everything that I do, because he's like my role model.
And you don't just start out like this, right? Like, were you raised religious at all? Like, when did you kind of go deeper into it?
My mom tried to raise me and my brothers Catholic until she realized what a bad idea that was. Well, I mean, she God love her, she still kind of practices Catholicism, but it wasn't for us. But she still wanted us to be spiritual. So she was open to us practicing something that was spiritual. She just wanted us to have God in our lives. But ever since I was like 5 years old, I've been asking the deep questions like, what is God? Where is God? Why is God? what came before God? If God is real, why is the world so screwed up? And
your mom is like, just tell me what you want for Christmas. Jesus. Come on, circle something in the catalog.
Well, she was trying to help when she said, God just is, honey. And I was like, well, that's not a good
Which is
answer.
almost Buddhist.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I want to know. So I'm really glad that she didn't satisfy my curiosity, because I kept looking. And the conclusion I came to was that God doesn't make the world this way. We do. And that God is real. Reincarnation is physics. It's just physics, and energy can't be created nor destroyed. It just changes form. And the power of manifestation, the law of attraction, all of that stuff is also very real. We are like co-creators in reality with God. And God gives us free will to help us manufacture or create the reality that we desire for our soul path. And yes, that path will come with karma. But as long as you live a karmic-free life of negative karma, then you won't have to reincarnate. You can continue to ascend into the higher levels.
Does this tie into, because there's a theory that some people believe like a baby or like a soul like chooses who their parents are, or they like choose to be born to like certain parents because those parents will help them learn the life lessons that are meant for like
soul
that
families.
life.
Yeah, soul families. And I believe it's absolutely a part of things. Absolutely.
Because you don't like, your energy is great, you're very light, you're not like bogged down. It doesn't seem like your experiences have like chipped away at your spirit. You're not like,
oh, they made me stronger.
Yeah, but you don't have a chip on your shoulder, right? You're not like, oh, woe is me, everyone's out to get me. And it's like really amazing. And I someone that's been through that, what you've been through, it's like, yeah, you have to be kind of tethered in a, it's like something greater than yourself, because like these experiences like really could break a person. And I just like, how did you, like, what were the, I guess the toughest parts? Obviously probably solitary. So like, let's say, imagine this, if you will, viewer. I imagine you're just in a dark, is it like a dark room all the time? It's cold, there's no blankies, like there's no water or food. Like, can they let you have anything?
Well, I mean, they allow commissary, but because of my organic diet, I wasn't really able to purchase any of it. But they deliver you in solitary. They deliver you food through a slot in the door. You get 22. I was in 22-hour lockdown. 22 hours in my cell, all by myself. 2 hours outside my cell. Not in general population, but I was the only one outside of my cell for 2 hours. I was able to use the phone, use the shower, watch TV, and that was for 10.5 months total. Not like consecutively, but 5 months here, 5.5 after.
What TV show would you watch?
In all honesty, the only thing that really like I would like to catch was ridiculousness, because it was funny.
Yeah.
It was light, and it was a half hour. I only had a certain amount of time out of my cell, so I'd usually spend most of it on the phone or taking a shower. So then I could spend a half hour, lighten things up, laugh about some things, and then go back to my cell.
Who would you call?
My mom, my brothers. I didn't really call friends. The government already knew who my family was. I didn't want them to go after my friends too.
Yeah.
So I just called family, my grandparents on occasion.
And at that point, did your family, like, did they know how long everything was going to go on? Nobody knew. It's just taking it day by day.
Yep. We only knew what I was going to get as far as my sentence goes after my sentencing. I believe it was in November.
Did they let you have books, or like did they let people write to you or anything?
Yeah,
like
I got lots of letters.
Okay.
But in the beginning of going into solitary, no, I wasn't allowed any books because of COVID.
And, we want the books to cough all over you.
Yeah, and then when I first got to Alexandria Detention Center, they gave me a radio so I could like listen, like in the headphones. But then they placed me in a cell where I couldn't listen to it. There was no reception. So for over 30 days, I think it was like 35, 40 days, I was in solitary confinement with no radio, no books, just a pen and a pad of paper, and that was it. And in the beginning of solitary, because of COVID, they had a 48-hour lockdown, and then you got out of your cell for 45 minutes. So I had to do, in the beginning, 48 hours inside a cell, and then get 45 minutes, and then another 48, and then 45 minutes.
Oh my God. Okay. And did they let you go to the bathroom?
There was a toilet and a sink in the cell.
I wonder if it's almost like, not that it's one of the perks of being in solitary. At least it's not like, I imagine in jail. I've never been, clearly. Obviously, everything about me, I'm so naive. But like, I feel like I'd be worried, like, you're worried about people watching you go to the bathroom, but at least in solitary, like, okay, no one's gonna watch you.
Well, but you know what though? In the beginning, when I was in solitary, there was a camera in my cell, so everything I was doing was being watched. It was weird, you know. It was hard, but the thing is that it made me stronger. All that pressure turned me into like a spiritual diamond, and now, you know, I'm hard, man. I'm as hard as I can be. I'm as sharp as I can be. I'm more patient. Prison makes you patient. I'm more focused. And I'm a lot smarter because I understood a lot of the things that I understand now before January 6th. But while I was being locked up, I had the opportunity to investigate all these things in greater detail. So now I actually have like the detail stuff that I can talk about as opposed to the generalizations.
Okay. Do you feel like Tucker showing that footage? I mean, he didn't show like all of it, of course. Like they still haven't shown all of it. But do you? And if I'm sorry, this is a dumb question. Like, was that directly responsible for your getting out?
No,
earlier?
it was not.
Okay.
So I got 6 months of good time because in federal prison, as long as you don't get in trouble, you only serve 85% of your time. So 15% of 41 months is 6 months. Okay. So I already had 6 months of good time because I didn't get in trouble. And I did what is called RDAP, Residential Drug Abuse Program. And that's because the BOP, when I told the pre-sentence investigator that I had eaten mushrooms a handful of times in my life, they're like, oh, well, you have a drug problem. You have to do RDAP. You have to do Residential Drug Abuse Program. So I was in there for a year. I was in the RDAP community for a year. And so I got 6 months off my sentence for First Step Act, which was passed by Donald Trump and, you know, in 2018, which is interesting because that was actually on the books. It was in the Congress for 40 years. So when the Democrats were promising people prison reform, they sat on that bill for over 40 years before Trump passed it. Okay. So then I got 6 months of good time, 6 months of FSA credits, and then I got a year off my sentence, and then they released me to halfway house on March 28th. But the thing is that I knew that was going to happen in mid-February of 2023. So when Tucker Carlson released the footage, 3 weeks before my release, it seemed like I got out because of that. But the thing is that the judge, if it actually had something to do with my release, there would have been a court hearing. The judge would have banged his gavel and said, get him out of prison. None of that happened. I just was released to halfway house 3 weeks afterward, which is interesting. Actually, the day that I was released, there was 5 planets in alignment.
Do you follow that stuff?
Yes.
How can you not?
That's part of shamanism.
How can you not? Yeah. See, every time they give us gals shit for being into astrology, it's like, how can it be irrelevant?
Well, astronomy and astrology are not quite the same, but they are kind of, right. It's like the abstract versus the logical. So astronomy and astrology are very important because, are you familiar with like Mercury being in retrograde?
Yes.
Okay. So look at it like this. We have an electromagnetic field that surrounds our body, right? The Earth has an electromagnetic field that surrounds the planet.
That's why like grounding is so important.
Yes.
And like sunlight, so many things. But...
So look at it like this. If we get our electromagnetic field from the Earth, and Mercury's electromagnetic field is very strong and dense. As Mercury's in retrograde, that means that the Earth and Mercury's orbits are rubbing against each other. So that means our electromagnetic fields are rubbing against each other.
And then if everything feels like tense,
yes,
the communication gets fucked up.
Correct.
All the electronics break down. You're late for things. The flights are delayed.
Exactly.
People misunderstand each other.
Because you are a part, you are an integral and interconnected part of this whole system of these electromagnetic fields that are all nested together. So when one is rubbing against the other, then the hurdles go up. Things start to happen. And that is a part of karma and a part of learning lessons as a soul. It's really kind of cool, actually.
It is cool. I wonder how things were aligned on January 6th.
That's a good question. I'm curious too.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, look into it. Let me know.
Because like we have like a family, like a relative who does like chart readings, but you can also get your chart read. I don't know. There's things online that can just tell you. Okay, cool. I asked you before if anyone had asked you to sign a boob. You said no on that so far, but just probably a lot of autographs, a lot of pictures. What was like, I guess maybe weirdest request or weirdest like or strangest maybe fan interaction in general or at this weekend?
Everybody was actually pretty cool. what was weird though was like just getting pulled one direction after another after another. So I'm talking to this person, then I got this person tapping me on the shoulder, this person's tapping me on the back. Everybody wants to shake my hand, everybody wants to talk to me, everybody wants a picture. And after a while, that can get kind of draining.
It's so exhausting. I'm tired after 3 of those. Like, I watched you go through 10 just in walking like 20 feet.
Yeah, it was interesting. But you know what? I love it in that, like, I'm helping to change the world. People are getting excited. You know, we're raising the vibration, man. We're raising the bar.
It feels like it.
Yeah, that's what this time's all about. This is the age of Aquarius, baby. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But the thing is we have to dissolve all these illusions that we live in. We have to dissolve all these cultural paradigms and these social constructs because they can't come with us.
And they keep you living in lack. If you're always afraid, oh, there's too many people, we got to depopulate, there's not enough resources, you don't have enough food and buckets stored up for worst case scenario. Oh, you don't have enough guns. There's just little pockets of fear no matter where you are politically.
What's
no,
that?
Please ask away.
What? Are you afraid now?
Well, no, I do have a little bit of trepidation right now because I just confronted Matt Gaetz for using my campaign platform for his anti-corruption plan. I did an interview with Newsmax on November 13th, and shortly thereafter, it was about my campaign and my campaign platform. Shortly thereafter, Matt Gaetz proposes his anti-corruption plan that just so happens to be one of the 3 main things on my 4-fold plan to root out corruption in DC. And he did that like 2 or 3 days after I announced my candidacy and proposed this on national television. So, and this is the same guy that is like talking about, oh, Tucker Carlson's footage got Jake released. We got to release the January 6th tapes. He was just on stage tonight after this confrontation. I wouldn't even say it was confrontation. After this lack.
You just went up to him like,
I tried to talk to him. He refused to give me a selfie. He refused to talk to me. He was giving other people selfies right in front of me, refusing to give me a selfie, refusing to talk to me.
Wow.
And that's like, dude, what the hell? You know, and then he goes on stage and he opens his mouth about January 6th when he was literally ignoring the person that was maligned by the system.
Was he worried that your horns would mess up his perfect hair?
I think what it was is that he knew what he did. He knew that my campaign platform was what he was touting in Congress. And the thing is, dude, I don't care. Get it done. Please get it done.
But acknowledge you.
But acknowledge where you got it at least, you know, or at least have the courage to talk to me about it and say, hey, yeah, you know what, dude? Even if, let's just say for the sake of argument that it's not true, all he could have said was, dude, to be honest with you, I've been working on that for a while, but I appreciate where you're coming from. I support you and what you're trying to do. But he didn't even want to do that. And so, you know, this is the thing about people in DC. Marjorie Taylor Greene actually had a sit-down conversation with me. Yeah, I got the photo. I'm going to post it on X. So she at least had the courage. She at least had the courage to talk to me. You know, she at least had the courage to take a picture with me. Sit-down conversation behind the scenes, backstage. So,
is there any chance he could have not
known? No, I have it all
position?
on video.
Okay.
I have it all on video.
Okay.
And he knew. And the thing is that the Secret Service was getting like, hey, if you keep doing this, you need to chill out because, you know, I'll have you kicked out of here. And it's like, dude, I'm not being aggressive. I just want to talk to the guy, you know. And then, you know, supposedly I heard there were people following me around after that. I'm going to have to tell my PO. You know, I'm going to have to tell my PO, hey, this is what happened. You know, but the thing is, I was not being aggressive at all. I was just trying. Well, yeah. So it's exactly. And so I had somebody come up to me and say, what's up, Jack? I had somebody come up and say that they heard that I was in one of the people from behind the executive area said that that there was a screaming match between me and Matt. And I was like, what? No, there was no screaming match. I got it all on video. You know, so how they're going to spin it, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad I got it all on video because I didn't do anything wrong, you know?
Yeah. What were the 3 things that?
Well, so my campaign platform is single bill voting law, an amendment for term limits for congressmen and staff, criminalization of lobbying, and 7-figure fines, expulsion, and prosecution for all Congress members caught insider trading. That's my congressional campaign platform. That's what I'm running on.
Everyone should do that.
Everybody should do that. I agree. And Gates, a couple of days later, proposes his well, first of all, he started talking about doing a single bill voting law, not even a day or two after that. And then he proposed his anti-corruption plan, which was getting rid of lobbying, term limits, and getting rid of insider trading. So it's like, dude, you were literally introducing them in sequence. Sequence that I came up with. And the thing is, it's not about me. It's about getting the job done. But don't pretend to be on the side of the little guy getting screwed by the big machine. Don't pretend to care about the American people. If that was a good idea, you should have done it a long time ago. I honestly just think that he's about him. I really don't think that he cares about January 6ers. I don't think he cares really about the American people, because that to me was evident tonight when he would not even be willing to take a picture with me or converse with me.
Yeah, I would say even if your points didn't line up like that, so even if you're a politician who purports to care about the day and the victims and everyone who's made an example of, to not acknowledge you is like you're hard to ignore. To not even be like, oh my god, yes, of course. Yes. Like,
he saw me, he deliberately ignored me.
You could even not like you, but it's like to not give you any attention or
well, you're giving other people handshakes and selfies right in front of me.
Yeah, how does someone ignore you?
And then go on stage and talk about January 6ers getting screwed. The hypocrisy is unparalleled. And it's like, and then you got all these people in these conservative circles that are like, oh, Matt Gaetz. And it's like, no, dude, no. These people do not care about you. You're not in the club. And they're just going to pretend. It's like when you're applying for a job, right? You try to give the best possible answers, right? You want to get the job, So they're applying for a job. But they give people the thumbs up before the election, and then they give them the finger after.
Yeah, and people in the chat are saying it too. Like, people who tend to want to get involved in politics want power for all the wrong reasons, and it always seems to me like the people who never go for power would always be the best leaders. I'm so distracted by all the dogs in the lobby. It's like I have this urge to go pet them all. Yes. Can we please talk about this? So I'm trying to have this very serious conversation with Jake here, and this guy comes over. He has a tampon in his nose. Oh, that's doggies. Yeah, but I do want to pet that dog.
Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog? Can I pet that dog?
Yeah. Do you want to put your dog on? Yeah, sure. So a guy comes over with a tampon. I thought he was gonna come literally on camera. He had a tampon in his nose and it looked bloody. And I was like, what the fuck is gonna happen with this guy? But thank God for Ari, she scared him off. But yes, it was a tampon in his nose. It's a good dog. Oh my god, what a good puppy. Jake. Aw.
Hi.
Good girl.
Oh, precious. I love dogs.
You know what? This is my dog. I'm a patriot in the military.
What a good dog.
Love it.
Oh my
God
god.
be with you,
Great
man.
vibes.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. Wow. There was a guy who I think he was gonna come over and start annoying you actually. So I was like, oh god, because he looked like you see someone with a tampon in their nose, it's probably not gonna be good. But Ari's the best. She told him probably to fuck off. And at first we were gonna do this in our room, but then I was like, what am I gonna invite Jake over to sit on a bed and give the wrong impression? And there's no chairs. It's like sometimes I'll get a suite or something where there's a separate room. And then Ari found this spot in the lobby. I'm like, this is a million times better. We were actually over there, and then there was a hotel person there. Thank God for you. There was the hotel guys kind of hassling. Oh, can't have anybody in the background. And I'm like, no one's looking at the background. It's just chat. So we moved the chairs over here, and he kept. I don't know. I'm just like, don't talk to me, don't bother me. But this is
Well, I don't want to monopolize your little thing here. I got some people that wanted me to drop by.
Thank you so much. I mean, this is so much time. I know you're so busy. And
I'm glad we could do this. It was so good to finally meet you.
You're such a generous person, generous of spirit, and you're really inspiring that someone who's been through what you've been through, and you're not a fucking negative, and you have every reason to be negative.
No. Yeah, well, we're not going to change the world by being negative. We're not going to change the world by being hate-filled. only love and positivity can raise the vibration. And I'm being the change I want to see in the world.
And I think, like, you know, if you're expecting politicians to like uplift you and treat you the way you deserve to be treated, it's like, don't hold your
Good luck
breath.
with that.
So
Yeah, we're never going to see change if we trust the establishment. So,
yeah,
you know, that's why I'm running for Congress. That's why my campaign platform is what it is. And can you imagine, final note, can you imagine the kind of statement it would make to DC and the swamp and the deep state to send me back to DC as a congressman? Could you imagine?
that would
Could
be
you imagine?
amazing.
And then, you know, going in a nice suit, but wearing the horns with the face paint on the first
Hey,
day, you
it
know,
can't,
that would be
like, you know,
hilarious,
like,
wouldn't it?
look, people think that you would be the most ridiculous thing, but it's like, no, we just had anal sex happening.
Oh, yeah.
on
Oh,
the
I
bike.
know.
So it wouldn't even be
And-
the most ridiculous.
And did they
thing.
get in there by trespassing?
No.
They had a key.
Yeah, probably. And
Well, so then why are they? So to me, it's like, okay, which is more of a desecration, gay sex or saying a prayer,
Yeah. And,
singing
like,
a song?
and weren't there security cameras? Like, weren't people able to see what was happening?
Probably.
It's insane to me. Like this.
How many other times has that happened?
Like,
How many
oh,
other
God,
times?
That's right.
Dude, I've heard stories about cocaine and orgies and
Mhm.
all sorts of stuff happening in DC. It's real, you guys. It is the swamp. This is how they blackmail each other. This is how they end up being in the club.
Yeah. I want to just check and see if there's any questions for
Okay,
you.
sure.
I've ignored
Have I read the
this
Bible? Yes,
push-ups,
I
of
read the Bible while I
course.
was in prison.
of course
And
push-ups.
beforehand too.
The problem is that the average voter doesn't care about the justice system until the justice system cares about them.
Sure that.
And these are old comments. Sorry if I've ignored you.
Okay.
I'm sure from Mr. Rhett, I'm sure his family disassociated from him because of his political views, not because he looks like a Yeti's ass. Oh, come on. I love the look. I don't think this is one of my, I think this is a hater. There will be no besmirching of Jake here. Margaret Reality, this is a very high profile interview. It is. This is what did I say, guys? The only people I want to meet, Roseanne and Jake. That's my short list of the people I have to meet. And I don't know if this relates to you. What do you get when you put bacon, pork, shoulder ribs, belly tenderloin, ham, hock, snacks, chips, in the back of a pig? Frankenstein. Okay, that's just a joke. Thank you. No, man. Jesus. Wow. Look, Aria says we're big fans of him in the chat. Yeah, we usually
thank you.
I will get an occasional hater, but I have so many personally. Okay. Oh yeah, I was talking about the being in a hearing room. I've made a lot of jokes about the butt sex tapes, but I'm not sharing the footage. I'm just making jokes about it. I was like, I'm just gonna refer to gay man's buttholes as the Senate chamber from now on.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, Jake, you're the best. I'm just like so inspired by you, and I'm really excited. Where can people follow you? And like, if they live in Arizona and want to help you with your campaign, what should they do?
Go to shamanforcongress.com. That's shaman, FOR, congress.com if you want to check that out. I'm not accepting campaign donations. That's one thing that I don't want to do because big money is a big problem in American politics. I'm running as a libertarian because the two-party system has just divided this country and taken everything from the American people in the process. The only thing that we've gotten in return is more wars, more poverty, more taxes, more crisis after crisis after crisis, and less freedoms. So screw the two-party system. I'm running as a libertarian. That's the closest thing to the founding fathers' vision for this country. And if you want, go to my website. My platform is on there. Why it's so important is on there. There's also interviews that are on there that you can check out. There's resources if you want to share things like on Twitter or something like that on X. You can share my Shaman for Congress. I guess you would call it. I don't even know, like what would it be? I wouldn't call it be symbols, but like it's not even memorabilia because I'm not selling it, but like the ads, I guess you could say, stuff like that. You can share that. It also, you can go to my website, ForbiddenTruthAcademy.com. That's ForbiddenTruthAcademy.com. There's all sorts of free courses. If you like what you've heard here, I promise you there's dozens of hours of free courses, free podcasts, free interviews you can watch. There's also some really kick-ass merch. Some of it's really funny. Some of it's badass. And my book, One Mind at a Time, A Deep State of Illusion, is for sale. It's only $9.99, only 150 pages. I don't make much money on it at all.
Okay.
because it's about the message, not making money. And finally, you can find me on X or Twitter at America Shaman. That's America Shaman, at America Shaman on Twitter. And Shaman for Congress, the number 4, at Shaman for Congress is my Twitter handle for my congressional website.
Awesome. Thank you.
All
Jake.
right.
Enjoy the rest of your
Thank
time
you.
here.
Thank you for having
I
me.
can't believe I was able to hug you without impaling myself. Oh God.
Oh, dude, Ashley, I believe it's Ashley St. Clair. She kept
Yeah.
doing an interview and she was leaning in. She kept getting poked by the horn. She goes, "Man, you're really horny." All right, see you later.
Nick, you're the best.
Love you guys. Thank you for the chats. Thank you for the comments. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Bye. All right. Love you guys. God, I don't even want to leave. This candle smells so good. I don't want to leave. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. Love you all. Join the Discord. Feet. Love you all. Wow. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys. Bye. Now I'm really leaving. Love you. Bye.